If you want to understand the whole concept of our walk with God, one book you must be very conversant with is the book of Romans. It encapsulates our walk with God in totality. If you read Romans 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it talks about justification, what Jesus has done for us. God commended his love towards us that while we are yet sinners, Christ died for us. It talks about justification. For all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So it's talking about what Jesus did for us. So once you are born again, all the sins of your past, God has forgotten them. Every sin, the lies, the fight, the immoral act, the stealing. God says you are justified from it. But from chapter 6, chapter 7, chapter 8 of Romans, it talks about sanctification. Meaning now that you are justified, can you continue in sin that grace may abound? You cannot go back to sin. This is now your responsibility. So the thought that once you are saved, God has forgiven your past, your present, your future is wrong. It's your past that God dealt with. Your present now, you have to be sanctified. That is why sanctification is called the second work of grace. Salvation is the first work of grace. So you have to be sanctified. Chapter 6, chapter 7. Paul was now saying, I know I'm born again. If you read chapter 7, he said, the things I want to do, I can't do. The things I don't want to do is what I do. It's like sin dwelleth in me. Now, some of us are going through that. You are a Christian. You want to get angry. It doesn't mean you are not saved. You are struggling between the spirit and the flesh. So, you see justification. What's the next? Sanctification. You see that in chapter 6, chapter 7, chapter 8. Verse 9, you see mercy. It lets you know that you're walking with God on the platform of mercy. Chapter 10 and chapter 11, it tells you God's plan for Israel. Chapter 12 goes back again to sanctification. Present your body a living sacrifice, holy, back to sanctification. Chapter 13 tells you how to relate with authority. Let every power be subject to the higher power. For there is no other power except that which be of God. Chapter 14 and chapter 15 begins to explain to you about the weak and the strong. Chapter 16, Paul greets you goodbye. He greets everybody and closes that chapter. Are you following what I'm talking about? So you understand our walk with God, that once you are saved, you are born again, you are justified. So now remain saved. That is why it says stand fast. Galatians 5 verse 1. In the liberty wherewith Christ has made you free, and be not entangled again to the yoke of bondage. And that's where you need the help of the Holy Spirit. Because it takes the Holy Spirit to live a holy life. Have you noticed when he was talking about the flesh and the spirit? When it comes to the spirit, he said, now the fruit of the spirit are these. But the flesh, now the work of the flesh are these. When it comes to flesh is work. When it comes to spirit is fruit. For you to produce fruit, it means a seed is planted for there to be fruit.